What's going on, everybody? Brendan here. Welcome back to Dad Planet, bringing you another What Sold on eBay video. This is the second week in March. I'm going to show you 15 items I sold that week, including a very fragile item that I did sell for $100, a pair of pants you might not have known about, and then one really unbelievable Halloween sale. Stay tuned. Guys and girls, I am nothing if not consistent. So another almost $2,500 in gross and then $1,600 in net. Selling costs are where they normally are. My average sales price up a little bit from the previous week. My quantity sold down a little bit from last week, but consistency is key. So I can't complain, especially with eBay losing all of these buyers and who knows when they're coming back. So let's check these BOLOs out. All right, so the first item is a vintage percolator from Proctor Silex. The model number on this one is 70101. You're going to see a few different styles of these. So I had like a floral pattern on the glass, like etched in on the glass. They have an atomic style. There's one that has stars on it. All of them, though, are pretty highly valuable, so it just depends on what style you get. But I was happy to get full price for this one at $100. This buyer is $132.02 all in after shipping and tax. The item cost me $6.99 at a thrift store, and the glass is very well made. Now, it's not an excuse to pack it loose when you pack it, but very sturdy glass. The thing worked perfectly. This was a great sale. I tell you when I have something priced correctly most of the time, but I also tell you when I have things priced incorrectly. And this is an instance where I think I was probably underpriced. So hopefully you don't make the same mistake, even though I'm still happy to get $100 for this. There's nothing special about it. It's a Breville Convection Oven. The model number is BOV800XL. I got $100 for this and the buyer is $139.40 all in after shipping and tax. I paid up for it a little bit. I paid $15 for it, but it looks like recent comps are selling in like the $125 to $135 range, not including shipping. Shipping would be an extra cost. So if you're following the current trend, you probably get a little bit more money than I did. As it stands, these are not terribly hard to ship, not extremely heavy, but big enough to maybe prevent some people from sourcing it. At any rate, I was happy with this sale as well. I try when I can to challenge myself. So this is an instance where I really have never sold Healies before. I shouldn't say I've never sold them before. I feel like there are a couple of pairs where they were youth that I was able to sell. It's just been a while. So I took a shot on these. And if you look at the list to sell ratio, there's 20 currently listed for this Healies style. The model number is 770159, but only 4 have recently sold in the last 90 days. So list to sell ratio isn't that great. I have, however, sourced the exact same pair now in a size 11. So I'm going to try it again, but I got full price for these ones as well. $30. Buyer is $50.81 all in after shipping and tax. I think these cost me $4.69. I can't exactly remember, but it's going to be somewhere around there. These are the shoes that have the skates on the bottom for those of you that are unfamiliar with the Healies brand, but I will take it. We'll try it again at a size 11 and see if we can't sell through those as well. But just keep in mind, like 20 listed to 4 sold. That's not a great ratio, but again, I'm always trying to challenge myself. So these are gone. Okay, this is a great BOLO. These are the types of items that probably aren't going to be marked up in thrift stores. And so I saw this coming out on a rolling cart on the bottom. I grabbed it, and it is a Nike Hoops Elite backpack. This is the 2.0 version. I did get full price for this one as well at $55. Somebody bought it at $46 and never paid, so I relisted it knowing full well it would sell for full price. So $55. The buyer is $71.91 all in after shipping and tax. I think bags at this location cost me $6. They're like $5.99 or something like that. But it's a great BOLO. It is also a consistent BOLO. And, tis the season with, outdoor sports happening and whatnot. Even though this is, I think, marketed as a basketball bag, I think you could probably use it for baseball as well. I'm not really 100% sure on that, but a great sale nonetheless. Keep your eye out for it as well. All right, if you weren't aware that Lisa Frank items are a BOLO, please keep your radar out for them. Now, it's not just the vintage Lisa Frank that is selling, and you have to remember, she's still manufacturing items. So there's new items coming out of her own shop as well. Even those items, you have to keep your eye out because this isn't just one of those great BOLOs, it's scorching hot. Now, I got full price for this, $29.99. It's just a stationary jewelry compartment box made out of cardboard. It was empty. The buyer is $42.63 all in after shipping and tax. It only cost me $2.99, but I'm gonna show you a recent BOLO just to show you how crazy this is. Somebody just recently paid over $1,000 for a youth girls denim jacket. So I'll put this comp on the screen. And yes, there was, I don't know if you want to call it a bidding war with 8 or 9 bids, but that is a pretty good indication that this stuff is just going crazy in the resale market. So keep your eye out for vintage Lisa Frank, Zoomer and Zorbit, the aliens. You want to look for her items from the past that have those aliens on them, but really all of it, old and new, selling like hotcakes. I'm not exactly sure why this bag sold. I mean, I kind of get why it sold, but I found it at the bins, so it was relatively, I guess, maybe underpriced. I would have paid maybe $7 or $8 at a thrift store for this, but I paid maybe around $5 or $6 because you pay by the pound when you're sourcing at the Goodwill outlet. And it was a big, long hockey bag. I just took a chance on it, and I took an offer on this one of $50. So this buyer is $68.73 all in after shipping and tax. I think the appeal for this bag is that it was 40 inches, and those are kind of hard to find, I guess, in the like Easton arena. So that's my best guess as to why I think this sold. And there just aren't many like that on the internet for sale on eBay. So I'm happy with this one. Is this a BOLO? It's a long bag. So if you can get it at a good price and if you can fit your full hockey sticks in it, it makes it a little bit more desirable. So think about that when you're sourcing this one. So I can't really tell you if this is like a BOLO you always have to keep your eye out for, but I was at the outlet and it made sense to purchase it there. All right, I recently sourced Brats at a Goodwill. It was like a bag that was marked $3.99, had a bunch of dolls in it, and then some of these little heads. So this is a Snap-on head games. The word games has a Z on the end of it when you're doing your comp research, but I had seen a specific comparable sale for this exact Snap-on head for around $30 to $40. So that's what I listed this at, and that's what it sold for. This buyer is $47.61 all in after shipping and tax. This is maybe 50 cents. There were like 7 or 8 items in the bag, and most of them have sold off by now. I actually still have 1 or 2 items left to sell or relist from that. Old school Brat stuff. This is like great money. This was really easy to ship because it's small. They have like big, large styling heads. These are the smaller ones, so keep that in mind. All right, Merrell Barefoot. If you're sourcing those shoes, you got to get them listed now. This stuff is selling really well. Now, the fact that I was able to get $40 for this is because these were like in basically mint condition. They were excellent. So I paid $6 or $7 for these at a Goodwill and was able to get full price for them. $39.99. This buyer is $50.69 all in after shipping and tax. The style number on this one, J85527, is a BOLO in and of itself, right? The Merrell Barefoot, like trail glove, those running like water shoes, those very lightweight shoes, those are selling great right now. But for whatever reason, this particular style seems to do better than others. So if you find this exact style and it's in this kind of condition, I'm going to say $40 to $50 right now because it's sort of wheelhouse time to be sourcing them. So keep your eye out for this style of shoe, but this shoe's colorway specifically with the yellow and the gray. It's been a while since I've sourced Hartman. So for those of you that are not aware that Hartman Luggage is a BOLO, it is something you always want to keep your eye out for, even if it's in moderate condition on the exterior, because the interiors tend to stay pretty clean. They tend to keep them in pretty good shape when they have them. So this was just a 23-inch like rolling piece of luggage. Now, the inside, again, was excellent. It was extremely clean. It had some marks on the exterior, but that's not usually going to prevent somebody from making this purchase. So I got $100 for this one. This buyer is $133.96 all in after shipping and tax. I only paid $2.99 for this at the outlet. They gave me a deal on it because they probably thought that it was a little bit of a heavier item, which was amazing, especially since I got $100 for it. Hartman the tweed style that you see here, that's a BOLO for sure. They have nylon styles that I've talked about in previous videos. All of it will eventually sell, but the most desirable style is the tweed style that you see in this image. So look for that. It's golf season. I found this on Marketplace for $10. The only reason I purchased it is because, it looked like the bag was in excellent condition. I don't know if Max Fly bags for women are a BOLO or not. I'm going to assume that there's a market for them, especially right now with golf season, it's going to start kicking into high gear. But I thought for $10 I could flip this for a decent price. I listed it for $80 and that's what I got. This buyer is $116.37 all in after shipping and tax. I purchased this, it was an area where people, probably have a little bit more disposable income and it was in really good condition. So I was assuming that, it was probably like a really expensive bag when it was purchased brand new. And so I just took a chance on this one, but it's golf season. You got to look for bags. You got to look for clubs. Scotty Cameron putters. I mean, those are like huge home runs if you can find one at a decent price because the stuff, people usually know what they have when we're talking Scotty Cameron putters. But golf, women's, men's, doesn't matter. 'Tis the season for that as well. So keep your eye out for all things golf. I was kind of surprised that these swimways floats sold when they did, middle of March. They did go to Texas, so maybe it makes sense down there, a little bit warmer of a climate. You have just recently seen, if you watched my video with BOLO Buddies, we did a little bit of a challenge at the same bins location. I sourced one of these. I'm sure it's going to sell in the next month or two, but I sold both of these to that same buyer. So this buyer paid $49.98. They got a little bit of a discount. I don't know what they were using, an eBay coupon or of the sort. So but it's, I have it written down as $49.98, and then the buyer is $69.64 all in after shipping and tax. Each one of these was $3.99, so it cost me $8. The list to sell ratio on these, not great right now, but I am assuming that that is going to change as the summer months start rolling in. So that's why I sourced the one that I did at the bin. So it's hit or miss with these. Not all of them are going to sell. They're a little bit awkward shape-wise, so you're going to need like a little bit of a longer box, and that might prohibit you from purchasing them because shipping costs might be exorbitant, so keep that in mind. Allbirds, yet another pair. So in a recent video, I just sold a pair that was like periwinkle blue. This is the navy blue style. This one I think is a little bit more desirable than the other style, or at least a little bit easier to find. So these are tree dashers. They're navy blue. They were a women's size 8. And this buyer is $47.37 all in after shipping and tax. These cost me $4.69 at a Goodwill. I think maybe I sourced them at the bins. I can't remember. Like, they could have come from the bins, but I think they came from a store. Anyway, great sale, Allbirds, good brand to look for right now, sort of an emerging brand. You've heard me talk about them in a few of my videos now, so keep looking for them. They're very unassuming in stores, so stores are not going to be marking them up or putting them on Shop Goodwill per se. It's probably one of those easy things to find rolling out on a cart or sitting on a shelf, just because they look so unassuming. All right, I bought these thinking that I would do much better than I did. So this is these are flight simulator controls like for PC, and those flight simulator games you always want to look for because some of those can be an item that are worth a lot of money. These ones, they were like a little bit, the joysticks, especially the left one, a little bit sticky. I thought I could clean it, and really if I have to spend more than a couple minutes cleaning an item like this, I'm going to have to pass on it. So I couldn't really get it clean to my liking, so I just bargain bottom priced these at 40 bucks, and they eventually sold for that. So this buyer is $56.31 all in after shipping and tax. They cost me $20. They were $9.99 each, so that would have been okay if I had gotten maybe $50, $60, $70 for them, which is what I thought I would get, but I couldn't get them clean, and I just disclosed the fact that they were a little bit sticky. No problem, they still sold, so I will take that. Lesson learned. It's still a great return on $20, but it's not the return I'm used to. And again, if I have to spend tons of time cleaning an item, at this kind of value, if it was a $200 item, then yes, I would consider, putting a little bit more work in. But I have to churn and burn sometimes, so I'm happy with the $40. All right, vintage Gerber pants. That stuff is all coming back. So many of those old 90s style pants from this maker are selling for over $50. I was happy to get $120 for these. This buyer is $143.68 all in after shipping and tax. I bought these at the bins, so they were like $3 to $4. I have just recently sourced another pair that you're going to see in a future video, and you probably want to subscribe and hit the bell notifications when that video comes out because it's going to be a very interactive one. But as it stands, Gerber pants are a BOLO. These were a stone washed style. They might have been a little bit high-waisted, even for men. They are selling like crazy. The list to sell ratio is way better than 1-to-1. And when I say that, I mean for every one listed, it's almost like 1.2 to 1.3 are selling. So they're selling faster than they can get listed, if that makes sense, in a very general sense. So with Gerber pants, keep your eye out for them. Again, you're going to see them in a video of mine coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. And finally, I have committed to doing a little bit more auctions online, and this was the result of one of them. So I bought about 8 or 9 of these Bethany Lowe, Deborah Shock Halloween figures. I had an owl that I put in a previous video that was kind of like a throw-in piece for that I eventually sold for $30, but this beautiful little gothy baddie girl sold for $127.49. This buyer is $146.95 all in after shipping and tax. Each one of those, if you're averaging it out, because I think I paid around $87 to $90 for that entire lot. So they were about $10 each, but I've already sold $400 to $500 worth of them, and I think I still have $400 to $500 yet to list. I haven't listed them yet because I haven't correctly identified the exact name of the figures, but these Deborah Shock figures that are sold by Bethany Lowe, scorching hot bolo as well. You definitely keep your eye out for it. Halloween sells year round, but this style and this maker for sure, keep your eye out for. 15 in the books, hope you enjoyed them. Speaking of that brand of pants, you might have an opportunity to win a pair just like it coming up in my next video. So if you are not a subscriber already, I suggest you do so and hit the bell notification icon so that you know when that next video is uploaded. And yeah, you might have a chance to get a pair yourself. Brendan here, Dad Planet. Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video.